Welcome to EarthChangers, where we talk every week with people making a difference in the upstate. Change a mind, change a life, change the earth. Here's your host, Amy Hyder.
Good morning and welcome to EarthChangers. I'm Amy Hyder, your host, and joining me this morning is Margaret, the Outreach Coordinator with Safe Harbor here in the Upstate. Good morning, Margaret.
Good morning, Amy. Thanks for having us on today.
We're very glad to have you. Now, Safe Harbor, can you tell us a little bit about it for those who might not be familiar with what Safe Harbor is?
Sure. At Safe Harbor, our tagline is, we are a safe place to start a new life. We are a nonprofit with offices across the upstate. We provide services to victims and survivors of domestic violence. We operate a 24/7 crisis line for anyone who might need our services or just want to talk about what they're experiencing. We also have calls from family and friends just with questions about how to support someone. We have community counseling for anyone who might not want the shelter services that we offer, and those are open to anyone in the community who might need to talk with a counselor about the abuse that they're experiencing.
Yeah, and we will get into all of that in a little more detail in a little while. But the reason we brought you on today is, we are here in the holidays, boom, smack in the middle of it, and you do have a holiday program. Can you tell us about that?
We do. It's called our Adopt a Family program. We've kind of switched around the verbiage this year. And beginning in November every year, we begin accepting new unwrapped gifts of clothing, toys, household items, really anything that you might need when you're basically starting over. And we accept this for the individuals and families in our shelter. So we are inviting anyone in the community who might be interested or want to adopt a family for the holidays and make the season a little bit brighter for someone who's basically left all of their belongings and memories behind and come to one of our shelters to adopt a family and just help put a smile on someone's face.
And you do know that the family that you're supporting, people really talk about this. Families like to adopt another family, and you could pretty much guarantee these people are starting out with nothing. They left with the clothes on their backs many times.
Very true. For many, it might just be a grocery bag full of items.
Wow.
For an entire, a mother with children. And in addition to that, experiencing domestic violence can be financially draining. Many people leave with little to no resources financially. So to be able to have something to give your children at the holidays, or for children to be able to receive something, children, youth, and adults, it means a lot. And we really rely on our community to help us do that.
To really bring back some sort of sense of normalcy to the holiday, to make it feel like a holiday. Now, if somebody wants to adopt a family, how can they do that?
So the easiest, there's a couple ways. One could visit our website at www.safeharborsc.org. There's a drop-down box that says Holiday Giving, and that would have all the information for our Holiday Adopt a Family program.
Okay.
In addition to that, people could call our number with more questions and information. It's 864-280-8096, and that's specific to the holiday program. Okay.
And now somebody's going, all right, adopting a family is all very well and good, but what if I just would like to give a gift? What if you, I'm not interested in a whole family. What can I, you also have drop-off locations, don't you? Just for just unwrapped
gifts. For
gifts.
Delivery, yes, and drop-off locations. And those would be for individuals who usually are interested in adopting a family and want to purchase a gift for that family that they adopt. And that's where our staff can really come in and help, steer or guide people in the direction of, so this is a need for a child who is 5 or 6, and this is a need for someone who is 16 who's in our shelter.
So you're not so much looking for random gifts, you're looking for something kind of targeted, so it would help if people called first to get an idea?
It would help if people just contacted us or took a look at our website. We have an updated holiday gift guide that is sectioned off through infants, toddlers, preschoolers, all different ages, really up to through the staff that work in our shelters, who also we've included. Just because it helps for the staff who work shifts at night to have something to brighten their holidays as well.
Yes, what a wonderful idea. Okay.
And as far as drop-off locations, we have Greenville, Anderson, and Seneca drop-off locations. So we try to make it convenient for people in the counties that we serve.
Mm-hmm. And those locations, those are simply drop-off locations. They have nothing to do with where Safe Harbor is located. Because that is one of the things that's truly, I love this about Safe Harbor. We don't know where it is. It's truly safe.
Confidential and right. And we really strive to uphold that promise to the individuals we serve and our community, really.
Yeah. And that's a very good thing. When somebody goes to Safe Harbor, they can be pretty confident that the person they're afraid of is not going to find them.
And we also work with that individual, knowing that someone might come to us and stay in one of our shelters, but they are also going out potentially to their workplace or to the doctor. So that's where really we're helping people build the skills to stay safe with them and their children in the outside world, outside of our shelters, but also working in partnership with others in the community to know, how can you make your whatever environment you're in a safe environment for someone.
And that's incredibly important because
it works both ways.
Yeah. All right. So now you have some guidelines for gifts. I saw that, certainly don't wrap a gift before you drop it off.
Right. If you can imagine an angel tree, we do, one of the differences for us is that we do ask for unwrapped gifts, and that gifts not be used, that they are new. But following our gift guide, any of these things, in addition to probably some of the others that our staff would be able to help with, would be perfect, a perfect fit for this program.
Okay, so you go take a look at the guidelines, and you can adopt a family, or on a smaller scale, pick one of the guidelines that you would like to give a gift, an age range, and pick something off of that. Do not wrap the gift, and you can drop it off in Greenville. It looks at Westminster Presbyterian Church.
Yes.
In Anderson at Boulevard Baptist Church. In Seneca, Utica Baptist Church. So those are some good, widely scattered drop-off points. So,
and our staff will be available to collect those gifts on December 18th, 19th, and 20th. So
so very specific dates. This isn't throughout the holiday season.
Well, our end date, we introduce this because we want people to be thinking about, you know, what do I want to adopt a family? How can I do that? What gifts would I like to buy? And then, so our deadline is December 20th, and our staff will be there those days, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay, excellent. So it's communication's key here, just like in almost anything else. Go take a look at the website, give them a call, get a little guidance. If your family chooses, if they feel led to adopt a family, you can do so. Get some gifts and take them on December 18th, 19th, and 20th. Okay. Now this again is in support of families, women and children who have left an abusive relationship and are sheltering with you. Roughly, can you say how many people you serve across the upstate? How many people you typically see?
So based on our 2016 annual report, only because this year's hasn't been published yet, we sheltered over 600 individuals. Wow. And as far as crisis line calls are concerned, over 1,600 crisis lines. So if you can see, we get way more crisis line calls than individuals who stay in our shelter. Some who may call back and want shelter, but some who may go to one of our community counselors. Some with just questions about, how do I stay safe where I am? And we work on safety planning with them when they call our crisis line.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes people are just looking to start to make their escape route. if they feel things are going badly. So it's a tough issue for people to feel safe, for people to feel safe in their relationships and to feel like they have a place to go. And Safe Harbor is always a place like that. Where can people call if they are worried, if they feel they need a place to go, or if they simply want to speak to someone on the crisis line?
So one thing that we want anyone who may be experiencing abuse to know is that they're not alone.
Right.
Because experiencing domestic violence and any form of abuse can feel incredibly isolating. Our crisis line is available 24/7, and someone need not identify as being in a crisis to call our crisis line.
Okay.
It's available at 1-800-291-2139. And again, we're open 24/7 as far as that crisis line is concerned, 365 days a year.
Okay. So always available.
Yep.
And I want to thank you again for the work you do around the community. You've saved lives. I'm very certain.
We'll be here until it's not needed anymore. So,
and, wow, wouldn't it be wonderful if we lived to see that day?
Yes.
Okay, Margaret, I'd like to thank you again one more time for the people with the Adopt a Family and the gifts. Where can they go to look to find out more about this program?
On our website, www.safeharborsc.org, there's a drop-down box, Holiday Giving, that provides all the information.
Okay, so they can find everything they need there. And there's also a phone line they can call if they'd like a little bit of guidance, because this is a special holiday giving line.
Right, and that number is 864-280-8096, and you can feel free to leave a message with any questions if you don't reach someone in person at that number.
Okay. All right, and I hope you get some calls from this. EarthChangers. We
hope so, too.
You know what you need to do. Well, I know, like I said, we discuss this every year with my family is, who can we, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could adopt a family? And a lot of places who seem to have programs like that before in the past have gone a different route with it. It just seemed like the family thing just wasn't. But people want to do that. People want to feel connected to another family. So
and that's actually exactly what I was about to say is we were looking for a way to connect people with the work that we do. And knowing that it's confidential, that can be hard to do sometimes.
Yeah.
So this was a way to do that. And for people to really, learn a tiny bit more about domestic violence and make it more of a community concern rather than a concern that just impacts individuals.
Mm-hmm. Now, with your crisis line, can somebody call it if they're worried about someone else?
Yes, we have calls from family members, neighbors. We get calls like that quite frequently. We would not, just by the nature of the call, we would not. Well, yeah, I mean,
that's not a way to get someone to come out, and it's not an intervention line. In other words.
Right. But we can provide the support that person needs to be able to support whoever they know who is experiencing domestic violence.
And that is also incredibly important. Oh, and one more detail, and we talked about this before we started recording, but it's something I had always thought that this was true. I guess this is not particularly true. I had always heard that, domestic violence issues and problems spiked around the holidays. And you said that is not necessarily the case, just maybe the intensity.
Right, just the impact that the holidays can have on trauma, grief, being surrounded by family members and friends sometimes can be a little more stressful depending on how supportive someone is of someone who is someone who is abusing another person. We've looked into that, especially working to communicate on social media about the connection between domestic violence and the holidays. And a lot of articles have shown that there's really not a serious spike in incidences of domestic violence, that happens all year round.
Yeah. An abuser is an abuser. but you up the intensity around the holidays when there are so many expectations and so many family members and so many demands on your time.
And if you're back to financial resources,
Right.
a source of power and control for a person who is an abuser can be to limit someone's financial resources. So we try to tie that in around the holidays and how and connect that with the work that we do.
Okay, so if you are in need of help, remember, you are not alone. You are not. Trust me, you are not alone. You're not the only person this has ever happened to. People have been where you are, and they know how to help you. So, Safe Harbor is here in the Upstate for anyone who needs that sort of help. Can you give the crisis line one more time?
Sure. Our crisis line number is 1-800-291-2139.
And we will definitely have you on again to go more in depth into identifying domestic abuse, helping people get some clarity on that situation, bringing more light to it. For now, we really wanted to shed some light on the holiday giving so people can help contribute to help get some of these families back on their feet again. And we appreciate your time so much, Margaret.
Thank you for having us on today.
And thank you for joining us. We've been speaking with Margaret, the outreach coordinator with Safe Harbor. And by the way, just one last little note. She is the outreach coordinator. That means you are in charge of scheduling people, or in this case, talking yourself to people who want to come talk. If somebody wants a speaker on domestic violence, you are the person who provides
groups
that.
of any size, right. I would be the filter, the coordinator for those, what we call speaking engagements. So anyone who identifies a need to speak to a group about Safe Harbor and the work that we do, but also domestic violence in the Upstate, feel free to reach out to us.
Okay, so you would call Safe Harbor or email Safe Harbor and ask to speak with Margaret. And so any church groups, if you're heading out to your Bible study today and thinking this would be a really terrific topic for our group to pray on, Margaret can get someone in touch with you to speak. And again, thank you so much for joining us today, Margaret. I'm sorry I keep drawing it out here for you, but you just had so much to tell us and so much good information, and we really appreciate you making the time for it today.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, and we will be back with more EarthChangers right after this.